Alright then, hello everyone and welcome back to New Era F1 Esports for round 2 of the championship here in Season 12, and it's the first sprint race of the season. Like last time out, or like last season, the second round of the season is a sprint race, which means the top 10 in the championship are put in reverse order. Sadly, we have a couple of people in that top 10 not racing here today, but we're going to go over the grid with you to see what is going on before we start this event. And as you can see, Halo lines it up on pole position for this 8-lap race. Djokovic alongside him. O2 Hazy in P3, followed by Makis. He's done well in this format previously, thinking back to Singapore last season. Noah chasing a first Grand Prix victory, was very, very strong last time out. What can he do from P5 on the grid? Ondrejek is sick. Watch out for him coming through, as well as this man, Squidge, 2017 championship leader, championship favorite, must be said now as well, that both Matty and Tess not racing here today. Wigan in P8, followed by iWatts in 9th, Octave in 10th. Then looking down further, we have Mr. Wilco, Kit W73, 1980s Wildcat, E69, Emreina, A33 BT, Victor, Darren Style, welcome back, Spenclose 64 to NEF1, and Ray W25 is lining it up in 20th. Alright then, we should be set to go, so everyone can ready up, and we are going to get this party started. Everyone should have gotten their setups in order by now then. So it looks very, very overcast here around Belgium. I don't think we should be expecting any rain throughout the sprint race, but you never know what could happen. We'll have a little look at everything as the race progresses, so it should only be a couple of seconds now before we get started. As usual, if anyone needs to grab my attention, make sure to just send me a ping in the Twitch chat, as that is the place that I usually read through. So here we go then. Halo lining it up on pole ahead of Djokovic, multiple-time NEF1 champion. Still running that Aston Martin helmet. Looks good, but I might have to update that one, buddy. O2 Hazy in P3, followed by Makers in the Racing Bulls. Noah in the Aston Martin in 5th. Ondrejek 6th, as mentioned. Squidge in 7th place. 6 spots to go to claim that win. About 1 overtake per lap. It's possible, we'll wait and see. O2 Hazy with connection issues ahead of this race. Gonna try sending him an invite, see if we can get everything going. It should allow you to take control of the car as soon as it restarts, buddy. Just stay patient, it should allow you to take control. And here we go then, Spenclose 6-4, long-awaited return to NEF1 as well. It's been a while, it's been a couple of years, a couple of seasons. It's a feel-good moment as well, having him back. Darren Style in P18, Victor, his first appearance of the season, in 17th place. And the Haas, A33 BT will be hoping to do better than he did last time out. Only made it a couple of corners up until Maggots and Beckett's on that occasion crashed out on lap 1. And Reina, decent outing, had a puncture and retired as a result. E69 copied his teammate about a race distance later, triggering a late safety car. Was cleared of any wrongdoing in that incident as well. 1980s Wildcat, 13th place. Kit had a very, very strong last stint to the British Grand Prix, just fell off a little bit as a result of the safety car, if I'm not mistaken. Everyone here starting on medium tires, mind you, as well. I was pushing for his first points of the season as well. I'm gonna keep an eye on this man. Squidge 2017 leading the championship, and now with a massive advantage to run away here. Is Djokovic gonna be able to capitalize on that? Is Halo going to push for a maiden win in NEF1? What is Noah going to be able to do from 5th on the grid as well? These couple of positions are crucial to get away with and try to build a little bit of a gap to Squidge. Will be coming up behind as we're lining it up for the Belgian Grand Prix sprint race. 8 laps worth of racing until we get everything going. Lobby restart after this, I'll drivers keep that in mind. Here we go. As here we go then, lights on, away we go, and it's a Ferrari getting away very, very well on the inside. The Haas not moving off the line, that is O2 Hasey with the AI starting for him. Djokovic gets a good start and he takes the lead into the first corner. Mackers in P2 taking Halo yet another position down. Noah in P4, Undercheck and Squidge, P5, P6, O2 Hasey all the way back on the start, and that is so unfortunate for the man inside the top 10 on this start. Mackes has just taken the lead away from Djokovic, coming up the long straight, following Rouge and Radion, and Mackes leads the sprint race, followed by Djokovic, Noah, Halo and Squidge is all the way up into 5th place already. That has gone very, very fast. O2 Hasey retiring from this race. Hope to see him back for the Grand Prix. Mackes, Djokovic, Noah, Halo, Squidge. That is the running order. What is going on further down is a little bit chaotic at the moment. There it goes. Is that Kit? Yes, it is. Having some sort of problem through Puon, if I'm not mistaken. That is Kit, maybe out of contention this sprint race. We've got a lot of ground to make up, about a second per lap, but it's not impossible. Spen close at the moment, making moves up into P15 as well. Your starting position in, your finishing position in this race is your starting position in the Grand Prix, and that is a BT off the circuit into one of the last corners. The first corner in sector 3. Mackes 7/10 of a second ahead of Djokovic, who is now being put under pressure by Noah. Squidge is all the way up into 4th place, and Mackes and Djokovic have got to get a move on here if they want to have anything to do with the fight for the lead of this race, because right now Mackers is Squidge is coming up rapidly in his Mercedes. Ondercheck couldn't do anything about the charging Mercedes behind him. He's down in 5th place. Halo has had a dreadful start from pole position all the way down to 6th place already. Octave and Reina, best starters on the field, along with Ray, up into 9th place. That's a very, very good effort from him. Starting in last, as well as mentioned, as Djokovic has gotten by Mackers now. And Noah is putting a defensive move on Squidge 2017 there, and it's just worked out for him. Squidge remaining in P4 for the time being, but he might just have a little snippet down the inside into the next corner. Noah trying to defend around the outside, slight contact between the two, and how is that going to transition over into the next corner? Surely Noah with the advantage there. Squidge just having to back out, and now that gap is beginning to form ahead. Mackers and Djokovic 1.2 seconds ahead of Noah, but that is time. The Squidge, when he gets by, you'd expect him to be able to eat that gap back up. Crucial for Noah now to not lose overtake on this next lap. That'll be one, is it half a megajoule of energy, I believe, that you lose due to not having overtake enabled to you. SSR Halo running closely behind Ondrejek. He's being put under a little bit of pressure by Wigan here. He might have done something clever on his battery. We're going to put that on actually so you can see what's going on. As Squidge is pushing Noah around the chicane by the look of things on the time delta, so I'm going to have to go on board with that battle once again. Noah versus Squidge 2017 here into the fast corner. Is Squidge going to make a move? Not yet. 1.4 second now the gap between Mackers and Noah. Is Mackers maybe lining up a little bit of a move on Djokovic here as well? You would expect so. But this could be crucial. Here goes Squidge past Noah, going up Rouge and Radion. Not the most common of overtaking spots. But here comes Noah back on him on the Camel Straight. It's not going to be a flat drag race to the line. A drag race that Noah convincingly loses out on. And Squidge is up into the top 3. Djokovic and Mackers switching positions once again. Mackers is into the lead of the Grand Prix. Djokovic in second. Noah in 4th now. But here comes Squidge, and he's coming up quick. 5 laps to go this race, and Squidge is looking dominant so far in terms of pace. We have a yellow flag somewhere on the track. That would be in the 2nd sector, but I don't know quite what for. Was that a Marina potentially having a little bit of skirmish? Could have been. A beating continues his tough run of form to begin the season. It's down P19 at the moment, 18 seconds behind the field. Only thing he can go for is a fastest lap, which won't yield any points on the sprint race. A tough situation to be in. Squidge on Djokovic then. 3-time champion versus 1-time champion. But in this case it's championship favourite versus struggling Audi at the moment on battery. Here we go. Is Squidge going to make a move already, or is he just going to stay patient for a little while? Stays patient, just charging up that battery to have a go at Djokovic maybe on the next straight. And just the exits the Squidge is getting in that Mercedes are absolutely crazy. Is it going to go around the outside into the fast corner? Certainly going to have a little bit of a go at it. Tries to tuck underneath, doesn't work. Djokovic covers it off. But now it's a run to Rouge and Radion. And that seems to be a favourite overtaking spot for Squidge this evening. And now then, deploying coming up the hill. Is Djokovic going to do anything to counter that? Wait and see. Is gaining on Squidge 2017, who pulls to the inside. Djokovic not quite close enough as to see position for the time being. But very different deployment patterns there for both Squidge and Djokovic evidently. As for Makers, he's now 5 tenths of a second ahead of Squidge. Maybe starting to feel like this situation's just that little bit hopeless. So it's not an ideal situation for Makers to be in. Let's check in with Halo, who's now putting pressure on the back of Undercheck, crucially for Ferrari. Tess not represented on the grid today, so it's crucial for Ferrari to get a strong result here. Halo still in P6, Undercheck in 5th and pushing on. Noah's fallen back quite a substantial amount actually on Djokovic and Squidge. Not able to keep up with that pace. He's sitting down in 4th at the moment, is Noah. Wiggin into the points, P7 and E6-9 would score Alpine's first points of the season as things stand. Ray is hoping to claim that P8 spot of him. As Halo's now moved past Undercheck, you just see that a little bit ahead. As here we go then, it's a game of check-in for Makers and Squidge. Is Squidge going to go for that move ahead of Rouge and Radion for the 3rd time in a row? Deploying quite heavily, Makers as well evidently. Leaving it to the straight then, but how easy of a move is this going to be? It's a track that's not really delivering in terms of any type of interesting racing at the moment. Spa usually unfortunately doesn't, but Squidge flies by into the lead of the Grand Prix, and Djokovic down the inside of Makers as well to take P2 away. Djokovic opportunistic as ever. Very well into P2. Makers having to cede to P3 there, but he comes back at Djokovic into the next couple of corners, and this turning into a nice little battle for P2 and P3 on the road. Djokovic ever so much would like to start on the front row of the grid for the Grand Prix. Noah in 4th place. Halo in 5th now. Undercheck is dropping back on Halo as well. 6th place, and Wiggins actually catching the back of Undercheck. There's the damage on... Oh yeah, there's a lot of damage on that Audi. Let me tell you, he's not going to make too much of that. So let's see. I don't think Undercheck is going to want to pit. That'll cost him a little bit too much. He's just going to have to yeek this out in terms of starting position as well. He's got 3 more laps to do it. Crucial for Undercheck now is to not have an accident, but I don't think he's going to be fighting overly hard when Wiggin tries to come back, come by him in just a little bit of time. But it's all a game of battery at the moment. Right now, not overly interesting racetrack, unfortunately. Undercheck is actually managing that broken front wing relatively well. He's keeping Wiggin at bay for the time being. As Ray's trying to catch up to the scene, but he is 1.8 seconds behind. E69 P9, iWatts in 10th. As Makers and Djokovic continue to battle for the top couple of positions, side by side going down the Kemmel Straight. Djokovic down the inside of Makers there, just beating him on the brakes. Makers doing everything he can, but whilst this is going on, they're still pulling away from Noah 48, who can't catch up. Squidge has checked out, 2.5 seconds. That was a dominant performance. He would have needed about 4 less laps to make this work. Spen close at the moment as well with the driver of the day performance, along with Ray, up 8 positions in this race. Starting last now, running in 11th place, 2.9 seconds behind Iwatts though. Could he potentially catch up with him, or we'll wait and see by the end of the race how everything is looking. And how is Ondrzejczyk managing that broken front wing? He's actually managing it extremely well. I'm very, very curious now to know how long he's been carrying that damage. How much did that affect him in his battle with Halo, as Max has gone past Djokovic once again on the run down to the bus stop chicane. So Noah Van running along in 4th place at the moment, coming under pressure maybe a little bit by the last lap of the Grand Prix from Halo, who is catching him. 1 second is now the gap, but just outside that overtake window. Wigan cannot make it past Ondrzejczyk, and right now Ray might be able to make it past Wigan. Wait and see here. As said, it comes down to battery on this back straight. I think Wigan might just have this covered for the time being. Ray, is it going to be able to do anything on the brakes? No. Wigan stays 7th on the track. 1 time penalty to take into consideration. That belongs to E69 for the time being, and that means Iwatts moves up 1 further position. As there goes Ray past Wigan into the braking zone of the long right-hander. Wigan there just with a little bit of a off-track excursion. And what is this? Is this Djokovic who's had an issue? Yes, it is. You would imagine he's had contact potentially with Makers. Djokovic then without a front wing, and will have to manage that for an entire lap unless he wants to start what practically is last now. This is a problem for Djokovic. How much time do you lose without a front wing on the last lap of this race? We'll see. Does he come in? No, he's staying out. But Djokovic then with a full front wing worth of damage. How did that happen? Just so I'm all of a sudden off the circuit. That promotes Noah up into the top 3. Halo into 4th place. Ray up into 6th, and Wigan in 7th still. Djokovic, if he plays his cards very, very well here, might just be able to hang on to about 9/4. But that is not the correct way to go about track limits, Djokovic. And neither is that. Djokovic in a heap of trouble here, and now is going to be careful on the rejoin as well. Leading positions now is Djokovic, and now down into 11th place, but still this is better than that pit stop, and coming out de facto behind a BT and Kit, maybe only ahead of him, Rain on the road. It's painful, but it is a net win in terms of the choices that he had available to him, sorry. So Squidge has absolutely dominated this sprint race. Started it in 7th place and is going to end up victorious here with a 10-point haul on both Matty, Tess. It's going to take quite a couple of points from Ondrzejczyk and Djokovic's championship campaigns as well. It's a beautiful week for Squidge 2017. He's going to start on pole position for the Grand Prix as well. Makers is going to finish P2 on the road with Noah probably in P3. I don't think Halo can do anything about it, as Squidge has crossed the line to finish first in the sprint. Makers in P2 continuing to deliver in the sprint format, Noah in third place. Halo in fourth. Good race from him in the end. Shame about his race start. Ondercheck in fifth place. Ray, bow down to the man. 14 places gained in 8 laps is a phenomenal drive. And welcome back Spenclose to NEF1 as well. P9 in the end, 10 positions gained. Djokovic comes across the line to finish in 13th place. A good result for him considering the damage that he got on the penultimate lap. The tough race in the end for Djokovic, but he starts 13th outside the top 10, just outside the top 10. He's going to be able to do some damage from there. Victor in 14th, Wildcat 15th, followed by BT with yet another problem. Kit in 17th, followed by Reina Dernstyle. No 2 Hasty will be starting the Grand Prix in last. So, and there we go. The points on the board at the moment are not the accurate points that are handed out. We do a slightly different point system for the sprint race to just add a little bit more initiative. But Squidge coming out victorious in the end, followed by Mac is Noah, Halo, Undercheck, Ray, Wigan and Iwat. The points finishes from the sprint. Spenclose, 19th to 9th. Ray, 20th to 6th. What drives from the pair of them? Look forward to seeing them next time out for the Grand Prix. Alright then, so we're going to go to a lobby restart before we start the race, because we're going to have to change about a couple of things. So everyone leave this lobby. We're just going to go to a quick waiting screen. I'm going to roll a couple of minutes of ads as well to get rid of the ads for anyone joining. So we'll be back within a couple of minutes to start the Grand Prix. So stay tuned. We'll be back in about 5 to 10 minutes. Alright then everyone, we are back for coverage of the Grand Prix here in Belgium. 22 lap race is coming up in a couple of minutes. Everyone's just sitting on the grid, getting their setups in order and getting a little bit of a quick break here. We're going to have a look. I was going to say at the starting grid, but apparently I can't do that, which thank you very much, game. See if I can do it now, and there we go. Squidge is going to be starting this race on pole position as previously established by the last race order, with Makis in P2, Noah starting in third, followed by Halo, Ondercheck and Ray. Brilliant recovery drive from Ray there. Win in 7th, followed by iWatts in 8th, Spenclose in 9th for Mercedes, and E69 in Alpine P10. Mr. Wilco going to be starting in P11, followed by Tiger Octaf in the Cadillac, Djokovic in the Audi, falling back at the end of the sprint race. Then he's starting in 13th place, ahead of Victor Wildcat in the McLaren, A33 BT and Kit, Marina Darnstyle, and O2 Hazy starting last. We're going to give it just one more minute before we get this party started. Then 22 lap race around Belgium. Not too great a racing in terms of side-by-side action as we've seen previously with these cars around, or with these new regs. Belgium sadly not a track that's ever really promoted good racing in the modern era of Formula 1 anyways. We'll wait and see what happens when we got a bit of a longer race. I don't know if you noticed this, I don't necessarily like Belgium, but it is what it is. So then the ready up has been given. We can now get this race started. About 30 seconds before we go for the formation lap. You would imagine it's a pretty standard one-stop race. Medium to hard tires. We'll see if we have the interference of a safety car to just break things up a little bit. If anyone has any predictions, then please leave them in chat. The way things are looking right now, you would imagine a relatively straightforward Squidge 2017 win, but a lot of things can still change. We're hoping for a little mistake or two for Squidge potentially, just to spice things up. It looked very, very dominant in the sprint race. So on board with Squidge then on the practice start, and Makis in P2, Noah in third in the Aston Martin, looking good here. So is Ray. That could be a team to watch out for. As you can see on the left hand side, most people starting on medium tires apart from E69, Mr. Wilco, BT and Kit. Most of those starting on the hard tires apart from BT going aggressive on the softs, trying to make up a couple of positions. But then, gonna be a bit of a different race. There's a lot of battery management, especially going up this straight and especially going through Sector 3 as well. The place where you can quite easily run out of batteries. We'll see what deployment's like. We'll see if Squidge can check out early here. I'm surprised Mackers, Noah, none of these guys have gone for a set of softs at the start just to try to offset things a little bit. And if you're Ray potentially... he had a very, very good race pace, evidently, so it might be wise for him to start on the mediums as everyone else has. But it would have been fun to see one of the Aston Martins just split their strategy. They're the only team, apart from Mercedes as well, with both their cars inside the top 10. The only team with both their cars in the top 8, so it's a split grid at the moment. In terms of teams struggling right now, Haas not looking too good, Williams struggling a little bit along with Cadillac as well. And you would have seen improvement from Djokovic in that Audi throughout the Grand Prix as well. Tester in chat wishing everyone good luck. Hopefully we'll have you back for next week, buddy. Shame you couldn't make it around Belgium tonight. So I'm sure Squidge won't share the sentiment as he is looking to run away with this championship lead as quick as he can. If he wins today, he'll have well over a race win in hand, maybe coming up to even 2 race wins after only 2 weekends worth of running. Matty Adam was the driver in P2 in the championship. I'm not sure if that still holds, but Squidge is most likely going to play this race very, very safe. As here we go, Van, we're lining it up on the back of the field. O2 Hasey pulling into his grid slot after those problems in the sprint race. Now he's going to get a chance at a proper race start here as we are set to go. We have the lights right in front of you, and it's go time for the Belgian Grand Prix. It is lights on, away we go. The Mercedes on the left hand side once again. Very good pull away on that pole position line. Noah down the inside of Mackers going into the fast corner. Is he going to be able to make that work? Doesn't give the Racing Bulls too much space to work with, but it is all fair game as well. No one has lost a major amount of positions on the start. Wildcat down 4 positions, to be fair, on that opening run down to the line. And Noah is under pressure from Mackers here, who is straight on the back of the Aston Martin. Halo in the Ferrari, not really getting involved. Side by side is Ray. I thought for a moment there with Ondercheck, but it wasn't quite to be in this. A Alpine, I believe, who had a problem with that A33 BT spinning through the triple chicane in the second sector, and A BT has had a problem already, and so has Spenclose going off the track for whatever reason. He's down to P19, and all of that work that he did for the sprint race is now going to have to be repeated here in the Grand Prix, but he's got a significantly longer time to do it. Wildcat and Darren getting tangled up there with each other through Prix as well. Noah now up into P2, and he is going to chase after Squidge as much as he can here, I'm sure. Let's see how much Squidge is going to be able to pull away, as here comes Macus with a little bit more battery than Noah, and he makes very, very effective use of it, going past into the bus stop chicane. Or heading towards the bus stop chicane, sorry. As Ray has made his way up to P5 and is not happy with that, he's aiming for higher. Right now it's P4 for the Aston Martin driver, who started this event in 20th. What could have been if he had started a little bit further up? But to be fair, the progress didn't really... might still have started just about where he did, maybe a position or two higher up. We'll wait and see. What is Ray's race pace here? If you're Noah or if you're Aston Martin right now, maybe you consider just switching these two just to see what kind of pace Ray can have. Is there anything you could do to potentially stop Squidge 2017 out front from just checking out? Max at the moment is doing what he can in order to make sure the Mercedes doesn't get away. The second Mercedes at the moment in a little bit of a struggle. Has he got a whole front wing on that car? Yes, he does. But it's been a tough start for both Spenclose and BT. Djokovic in P9 at the moment, trying to chase down his former teammate and championship compatriot. Right now, rival Wigan 71 in P8, and then chasing after Halo and Iwatts. Iwatts is running a good race here, up in 6th place at the moment in that Red Bull, with his teammate absent, mind you, as well. Critical for Iwatts to bank a couple of points here, potentially, as we're all starting to get used to this style of racing and these regulations by now. It's the 3rd race in total that we're doing. Is the 2nd in the championship order. As Mackers might actually be mounting a little bit of a challenge on Squidge here, who's not able to check out as Mackers closes up a little bit under braking. It's an interesting picture at the moment. But the exit the Squidge is able to get coming out of the bus stop chicane, you would imagine that that is where he gains the majority of his time throughout the race. It is through the bus stop chicane. But now then, going up Rouge and Radion. Mackers 97, is he going to be able to close up a little bit on Squidge? Squidge moving backwards basically, and Mackers takes the lead of the Grand Prix away from Squidge. Now Noah gonna have a go at the back of the Mercedes as well, potentially. Don't think there's anything he's gonna be able to do on this occasion, but it's closer at the front than I was expecting. Squidge in P2 at the moment, wasn't able to break away. Mackers leads this race. Yellow flags in the last sector, and that's a problem for Kit along with Victor we would have imagined having some sort of a come together, and I'm sure will be investigated after the race. Is that a broken front wing for the Belgian Haas driver as well? Yes, it is. And how is the state of Kit's car? It's looking a little bit better. I'm not sure if I'm seeing an M plate on that other side of the front wing, though. No, he doesn't. That'll have to be replaced over the course of the Grand Prix distance. Both Victor and Kit then without a full front wing. Mackers at the moment is actually breaking away a little bit here, because here comes Noah on Squidge. Now Squidge's race at the moment is not going according to plan. Now being pressured by Onricek from behind as well. How is Squidge going to just readjust himself and try to have a go at Noah and Mackers out front? And how are Mackers and Noah going to play this? Because they've got two NEF1 champions coming up behind them. In Squidge and Onricek. So are they just going to sit back a little bit, or are they going side by side, eventually just slowing each other down a little bit? Victor, 10-second time penalty. Kit, 10-second time penalty. Both speeding in the pit lane. Squidge not able to do anything on Noah at the moment, and Mackers maintain his advantage out front. Kit's retired from this race. As I watched then, his race has actually turned out rather lonely. I think he's quite happy Wigan is behind him. 2.1 seconds and losing a little bit of time. He's holding up E69, Djokovic and Halo for the time being, and Iwatz can just create a little bit of breathing room. If he wants to get involved in the battle ahead, I don't actually know that yet. Here comes Onricek, and he's got a massive run on both Noah and Mighty. Have a little bit of a go at Squidge here as well. Doesn't decide to go for it into the braking zone of the bus stop. And this is where we see Squidge's brutal efficiency as he just pulls away a couple of tenths of a second on Onricek on the exit of that corner. And Kit has left the session there. Out of the Belgian Grand Prix on lap 4 out of 22, I believe it was, is Kit semi-free in the Williams. As here is Squidge then on Mackers, going up a Rouge and Radion. But is that overtake going to stand, or did he just deplenish his battery a little bit too early? Because here comes Mackers and here comes Onricek. What worked in the sprint race doesn't quite work in the Grand Prix. Onricek is up at P2 at the moment in his Audi. Mackers is leading this race, and this is beautiful racing right now actually. It's going down just that little bit later. These cars with heavier fuels just seem to be that little bit more intriguing. Noah's lost a heap of time at the back of this battle as well, and Iwatz has caught up quite a substantial amount, and he has overtaken Ray 25 for 5th place. As what is Djokovic in the second Audi doing? He is trying to get past the other Belgian of Tiger Octave in the Cadillac. Doing so unsuccessfully at the moment. And the second Ferrari of the one Ferrari this session should be said. SR Halo in P11 at the moment, outside the points. Fastest lap at the moment belongs to Darren Style on 1:48.734, and that's an extra point. As Halo there, just going for a move down the inside of Tiger Octave, having to back out of it as Iwatz moves up to 4th place because Noah's gone into the pit lane. Squidge in 3rd place now as Onricek has taken lead of the Grand Prix on the run down to the bus stop chicane, I believe. Mackers now sitting in P2 and having to go defensive because here comes Squidge 2017 once again. Now it's a 1.7 second gap to Iwatz behind. Noah going for the undercut then. see how efficient that is going to be. Mackers and Undercheck switching positions here at the end of the Kemmel Straight, and Mack is back into the lead of the Grand Prix, and he is running a very, very good race at the moment inside VAT Racing Bulls. As Victor now out of the session, also a retirement in the pit lane is not what we want to see at all. So beware, yellow flags in sector 1 at the moment, just before a Rouge. Hopefully that car should be clear by the time we get any racing action there, as Undercheck once again has made it past Mackers. The undercut from Noah at the moment seemingly working, is gaining a little bit of time. Squidge has now decided he's going to cover that off in order to try a defense. There's a quick pit stop for Squidge, who's going to come out behind his teammate. Is he going to come out behind Noah? He's just covered that off for the time being. He's going to have a lot of battery coming out of the pit lane, but Noah has the run on him. That run is interrupted relatively early, and Squidge might have just gotten away with that. But now Mack is an undercheck. Surely have got to respond immediately. Spenclose is not going to make it difficult for his teammate. He is going to make it difficult for Noah though. Pulls it to the middle of the circuit, and now he's going to put a roadblock on that Aston Martin. It's not going too quickly, that second Mercedes at the moment. Noah tries something down the inside into the braking zone. Maybe a little bit clumsy, I don't know. But is he going to be able to pull that off? Rounds the outside into the next corner, and Noah just makes it past Spenclo 64 there. Crucially, but he's lost over a second to Squidge already, who's now trying to get up to the back of O2, Hasty and Squidge. Running in relatively clean air for the time being. Mackers and Undercheck have got to respond immediately in order to keep that position, that battle alive. As Raven goes into the pit lane, Undercheck and Mackers both staying out, and I'm very curious as to what that decision is. Are they hoping for Squidge to maybe get caught up in a little bit of battling behind? What's the thinking there? What is the thinking, and where is Ray's going to come out in comparison to Squidge? The answer to that is nowhere near. So the undercut brutally effective at the moment. Ray, to be fair, wasn't involved in that battle really to begin with as well though. But the battle between Mackers and Undercheck continues here on lap 8 out of 22. As Undercheck flies by Mackers going into Puon, and is switching positions every other lap, these two cars at the moment. Just pushing each other, trying to get up a little bit further down the road. So now is the question, lap 8 of 22. Surely it's time to go into the pit lane. Or are they now forced to maybe just stay out and hope for a virtual or full safety car? Now we do have a virtual safety car, just as I said so. This is played out beautifully for both Undercheck and Mackers, and I'm telling you, Squidge 2017 is going to be screaming right now as to what this could potentially do to his race. He's fast, but how fast is he running in clean air. We have a full car safety car. Good news for Squidge, but Undercheck and Macus are going to get away with a very, very cheap pit stop here. So is Iwat, and where are they going to come out in comparison? E69 going to get a cheap pit stop, so is Wigan, so is Djokovic. Wildcat freezing time penalty track limit warnings. Where is Squidge? He's pushing that delta, I can promise you, as much as he can, making contact with the back of O2 Hazy there. Not the best look for Squidge, bit unnecessary. He's pushing as hard as he can. Wilco, 10-second time penalty. Where is he going to come out? He's going to be behind the Red Bull, but he's going to clear the Aston Martins. Usually for... the Aston Martins were behind anyway, sorry. He's in 4th place then. It's better this for Squidge to be a full safety car than a virtual safety car. Otherwise he would have just lost time. Now he's at least within the battle still. He's just got Iwatts ahead of him, so it's not turned out that bad for Squidge. Be a bit annoyed with that, but as to what could have happened, that's actually preferable. Iwatts and Mackers just made contact. I'm curious to see. It looked like carbon fiber flew off the Red Bull, but I don't think it's done any damage to the car. It might have just been a visual thing. But I'm sure that'll be under investigation after the race as to any foul play. As apparently Squidge has had a setup issue and has not put a setup on for this race, which would explain why he hasn't been able to pull away in the same fashion as he did during the sprint. It's also really worrying that he can keep up with this level of pace even without a setup. A setup usually gives you about 7 or 8 attempts worth of lap time, doesn't it? So the question is, how much would have Squidge checked out if it wasn't for that potential issue? Then we're going to have at least another lap worth of safety car here, you would imagine, unless a 33BT randomly spawns at the back of Spenclose at the moment. So not having the best Grand Prix for the time being in P17. Everyone has now made their 1 pit stop. Most people, would you believe it, hard tyres. Apart from Mr. Wilco and A33BT and the 6-9, who's on a set of mediums that are unlikely to make it to the end of the race, but I don't think he had a choice, did he? E69 started on the hards, now on the mediums, but I'll be hard pressed to make those last to the end. So then, 2 cars into the pit lane. Mr. Wilco, you'd imagine, is going to want to serve that time penalty. Just get rid of it. And A33BT may be getting rid of soft tires. And on goes a set of hards. It's a clever move there from Wilco, getting rid of that penalty. If you're about to be somewhere near last, might as well get rid of the time penalty to begin with, if you're not going to get it removed, that is. As ABT is now retired from this session. How the f is that happened? Into the wall under the safety car, and it's the 2nd straight retirement from A33BT, and that is maybe his worst start to a season yet in cars that he has the pace to be competitive in, and it's not going well right now for the Alpine outfit. Pressure now mounts on E69 to score Alpine's first points this season. McLaren are on the board, if I'm not mistaken. So are Racing Bull, so are Audi, so are Mercedes. Alpine's struggles continue here early on in the season, as now the race should be restarting if I'm not mistaken, or the lights still on the safety car. Yes, they are. Are we going to be subjected to another lap of safety car? Because, oh, for sake. Anyways, it is what it is. Another full lap worth of safety car action then. And whilst this is going on, E69 is very, very thrilled because this is not putting any type of pressure on his tires. So I'm sure he's going to be absolutely thrilled with this. As 1980s Wildcat now has gone into the pit lane again. What could be the reasoning as to that? 1980s Wildcat has put on a new set of hard tires. For unknown reasons. Maybe so the time penalty, but he's still got 9 seconds worth of them. It's going to be a tricky race for him regardless to get anything out from this, but 10 laps to go. As there we go then, finally the confirmation. Safety car in this lap, everyone is bunched up. Ondercheck needs to pick a speed, stick to it, and then when the safety car is in the pit lane, then he is free to go. Ondercheck v Macus v Iwat, Squidge, Noah, Ray on this restart, such is the top 6. So then now that safety car is going into the pit lane, has crossed the line. So when is this race starting is the question. As there we go, there is the pull away just before the braking zone on the bus stop chicane. Not the best of restarts for Undercheck, unconventional to say the least. But he has pulled away massively on the start-finish line. Squidge straight past Iwatts up into P3. Iwatts dives it down the inside into the first corner, and that does work a little bit. Now it's Squidge, Iwatts and Noah tangled up in a battle here going up the hill. Squidge leads them, then it is Iwatts behind. Noah coming up behind and on a massive charge as well. Mackers, is he going to be able to make it past Ondercheck as well, side by side, going into the first set of corners after the long straight. But no, Ondercheck emerges victorious in that one. So does Squidge in the battle for third place for the time being. Iwatts and Noah doing battle going into sector 2, and race involved in there as well. These Aston Martins are going to be careful to not trip over each other now, because they're running in a very, very good position and need to help each other push forward, because here comes E69, maybe down the inside of the next corner, and that's what a new set of medium tires can do, my friend. Just gives you that much better braking performance and confidence to just throw a car into a corner, and that'll actually stick. Ondercheck, Mackers and Squidge is the top 3. So Van Ondercheck, Maka, Squidge, top 3 remaining as it is. Iwatts, Ray, E69, Noah, Wigan, Tagroktaf and Djokovic. It's the entirety of the top 10. Van Reina just running behind there in his Cadillac in P11. What has Spenclose been able to do on this restart? Not too much. P14 for him, so too Hasey. 13th place. Darren Style has now gone past Spenclose actually. Might not last for too long. Makes that stick actually. Very, very opportunistic move into turn 1 by the look of things, as Mr. Wilco might have shaped something up for a Squidge-like move, but it wasn't quite to be. C69 continues making progress inside the top 5 now, and he might just have a little go at Iwatts as well. And you can just see those medium tires working so well under braking there for E69 F1 as he blasts past Iwatts and now Squidge up into the top 2 past Mackers. And now he's got that Mercedes to work evidently in this second stint of this race. 10 laps to go here, but we still have Ondercheck in the lead, followed by Squidge and Mackers, and that is likely to be the battle for the top step of the podium. But E69 could throw a spanner in the works here with those medium stars that are working very, very well for the time being. Could he potentially challenge for the podium or for the lead for at least a little bit of time before those mediums are expected to drop off within about 6 or 7 laps, you would imagine. About lap 20 those tires should be finished. So Ray at the moment in 6th, and what has happened to Noah? He's down in 10th place at the moment. Does he have a whole front wing? I wish the game would just freaking tell us. Has a rear wing in front, but it looks like a whole front wing on that Aston Martin still, and it's a Tiger Octave that is all over the place going into braking zone and into the side of Noah there. Fastest lap from Squidge as Tiger Octave has died. Was that thing losing 4 positions in one corner? It might have been. A little bit of recharge though going into turn 1, and I don't think he's quite going to have enough to send down the inside of Noah. It gets by Djokovic briefly then, but so battery reliant. Noah up to P8, chasing down Wigan, crucial for his race to now get back ahead of McLaren as quick as he can. So then the battle for the lead heats up. Ondercheck and Squidge within 0.3 of a second of each other. Macker's just now starting to fall behind a little bit. He'll be happy with a podium here, but he's been fighting for the win throughout this race. He'll want to maintain that over this last stint, if nothing else. Just to give him a little bit of confidence going into next week. Ondercheck right now under massive pressure here from Squidge. One-time champion versus one-time champion. And Mackers, I'm sure, is just sitting behind this battle, hoping for the two to have some sort of a collision. I'm sure he wouldn't mind that too much. Okay, here we go, then on board with Squidge 2017 into the bus stop chicane. You can just see the Squidge does not fancy a move into there at all. Let's see even on Ondercheck what kind of an exit can he get on the bus stop. Actually quite equal around there. A little bit of an advantage for Squidge, but that's mainly battery related. Maybe around the outside in turn 1. Not going to do it on this occasion. Tries to tuck over. And Noah is out of this race. And where has that happened is the question. He's in the wall very, very late on the start-finish rate. Virtual safety car. That's a weird place to retire for Noah 48, and it was looking very, very promising for Aston Martin at one point. Now, Ray in P6 and all of a sudden looking very, very mediocre for Aston Martin as a whole. Ray's done very well to get up to P6 to begin with this evening. Should be set starting in 20th and last for the sprint race, but for Aston Martin this week in its entirety, a massive missed opportunity. Wildcat then picks up yet another freezing time penalty, multiple track limit warnings. We're up to 12 seconds for Wildcat. Seemingly a little bit of a problem with track limits for him, as I'm getting reports that Noah probably hit some sort of a curb. As to how that sent him into a wall that late on, I don't know. Wildcat now, drive-through penalty, speeding under the safety car, and that is de facto probably his race done. Undercheck Squidge is the running order for the time being, then 7 laps to go, and this is going to help E69 out even further in the Alpine. With those medium tires on, he's going to be able to just cool those down, preserve them a little bit, and go for one more shorter run. As to Undercheck and Squidge, what did they do? Did they stay out on a set of hard tires? Is anyone bold enough to gamble? Then it's a question, if one pits, do the people behind then follow, or do they stay out? Wait and see. None of the top 3. Actually, E69 going into the pit lane. Iwat staying out. Ray staying out. Yeah, most of the cars staying out. And Reina's coming in. Djokovic coming in as well. 10-second time penalty for a severe collision with Reina. That's not ideal for Djokovic. We'll see if he actually has to serve that immediately, or if that is potentially going to be investigated after the race. But that requires that penalty still to be standing. Not served in the pit lane, handed out a little bit too late for it. He slots in behind Halo, just ahead of Spenclose. It's been a bit more anonymous in this Grand Prix than it was during the sprint race. Just not quite good enough for a point in the sprint. Spenclose not close to the points really in this Grand Prix so far. 16 cars remaining, and Spenclose is running 14th place, so we're not going to call it quite yet. Imagine medium tires on for a majority of the runners that have been into the pit lane, hard tires for the rest. But it's a restart now that Undercheck is going to have to play just that little bit better than he probably did last time out to get a jump on Squidge there. A little bit of a weird strategy from Undercheck. It worked towards the end of the restart phase, but it really didn't work to begin with. Squidge might just be a little bit wiser to that, more experience racing at the front. Mac is in P3, doing everything he can to keep Iwatts and Ray behind. Wigan in P6 running a good race as well. When do the medium runners start? E69 in P10. As the safety car is coming in this lap, that's a short safety car. Short and sweet as it should be. So then, looking back from Undercheck's POV, maintaining a constant speed there now. When will he decide to go? Safety cars in the pit lane. We're coming up to the bus stop chicane. He's still not gone. He's leaving this very, very late. The entire field packed up behind him, and now he's not giving himself too much to go for here on the check. There's only a couple of meters where he could have gone before Squidge could have gone past him anyways. It's a very, very poor restart from Undercheck, and it's seeing chaos behind him. What has gone on there? Squidge involved in something, I believe, with Iwat, and who lost out as a result of that? Halo has dropped back a couple of positions, and Reina is out of this race. Where has that happened? It's happened after turn 1. So Reina still moving on the circuit. So what has happened to Reina there? Don't know, but Reina is out of this race. It's a very, very poor restart. I don't know what happened in regards to Squidge. It looked like he was involved in something, but I can't say for sure. Ray's past Iwatts into the top 4. Wigan maintaining position. E69 now past Wigan up into 6th place, actually, making that look relatively easy with the medium tires as well. Those medium tires now might actually come into effect here. We'll wait and see, but they are looking strong from the back end of this race. 5 racing laps to go at the end of this one. Sam Reina becomes the 5th retiree of the Belgian Grand Prix and has not been a very, very good season in terms of retainment throughout the races so far. Spenclose now into the points as a result of that DNF from Reina previously, into the top 10. As Ondercheck, Mackers maybe switching positions there. Ondercheck and Squidge maybe switching positions. Mackers in 3rd place, then Ray in 4th. E69 then doing what he can to climb further, but now getting up to the absolute front runners. Ray, Mackers, Squidge and Ondercheck as Iwas dives it down inside into the first corner. Aggressive as you will from the Red Bull, but he's going to be able to make that work. Tries a little bit of battery going up towards the long steep hill that is Radion. Not going to work on this occasion. How much battery does E69 have to defend with? Quite a bit. Does he have to attack the Aston Martin ahead of him? Maybe on the brakes. It's going to be very, very bold, steaming down the inside there. That was very much on the edge of control from E69, but he just made it work. In P4 now and chasing down the leaders here with only a handful of laps to go. And E69 could genuinely win this race if those mediums hang on throughout this entire stint. Ondercheck, Squidge and Mackers have got to be wary of what's coming up behind them. As Reina clearly not happy in chat with something that has gone on the restart. And E69 now, 3-second time penalty, and that has taken all the potential of a podium or Grand Prix victory away. And now he's got to push on to stay inside the high point scoring positions. Such is the impact of only one 3-second time penalty. Can send you back many, many spots, as we might be about to see. Wigan is now going defensive on Spenclose, who's trying to make it into the top 8. Not quite on this occasion, we'll have to do it again. Try a bit of a more patient approach. Yes, oh, there's stuff going on all over the place. There's yellow flags in sector 3, just around the bus stop chicane. I believe Darren and Mr. Wilco was involved in that. There's a lot of blue dots on the minimap at the moment. Ondercheck at the moment is leading this race from Squidge and Mackers still in 3rd. Ray, if he wants to get involved for the battle for the podium here, needs to get by E69 rapidly. Not going to have a go at Mackers, and E69 might not care that he has a penalty. That is a dangerous steam down the inside with very, very little control, and that I'm sure will be under investigation. Wasn't able to pull that off quite cleanly, and that has absolutely impeded Mackers. As here comes Squidge, just trying a little move down the inside of Ondercheck, trying to show that he is there. If this is true, that Squidge is running without a setup for this race, then it is absolutely incredible that he's able to keep pace with Ondercheck with 3 laps to go. The question is, how much of a defense can Ondercheck put up here? We'll wait and see. E69 is still coming up on the scene, but with that 3-second tamper, we'll see what he's able to do. Mackers in 4th place at the moment is going to do what he can. As we have a train of cars going a little bit deep into the first corner. E69 first, followed by Mackers and then Ray. And now is the question, is Ray going to be able to mount a little bit of an offensive on Mackers? Very little to play with going up the hill. It's a straight drag race between the two. How is Squidge getting along? He's not getting along well in regards to the Alpine, who is now up into second place on the road here. And here comes E69 down the inside of Ondercheck in the same spot where he pulled a move on Mackers just a lap ago. And E69 now on track, first on the road. And those medium tires were a good gamble that maybe someone like Ray, someone like Mackers should have gone for realistically, because that could have potentially been a win in this race. Ondercheck straight past E69 then again. That leader Grand Prix did not last for long. What this is doing though is giving Ondercheck a good buffer to Squidge behind him, who's now 0.8 of a second behind Ondercheck, but has got a car in between the two. So now crucial for Squidge to get by as quick as he can. We'll wait and see what E69 can do in regards to his time penalty as well. Max has fallen back a little bit, P5 at the moment. Sad to see, been running a very good race and does really deserve a podium at the moment. That would belong to Ray, but he's done that. Max is back up into a podium position. A little bit of a tail happy moment for Ray coming out of the final corner then. Spenclose is up into P6 after getting past O2 Hasey, and he has come alive in this final phase of the Grand Prix. Ooh, as Wiggin pulls a clumsy move down the inside of Iwad there, and how much is the Red Bull going to lose out? Tiger Octaf trying to capitalize on it, runs out of room, but it's not a brilliant move from Wiggin that down the inside, not able to get a slowdown, but a look of things, but I'm sure it'll be reviewed as well. Ondercheck then, with a lap and a half to go, is half a second ahead of Squidge 2017. Will we have an Audi or will we have a Merc at the top step of the podium? The German rivalry is starting already here, and Ondercheck potentially now be able to mount a championship challenge off the back of what so far has been a faultless Belgian Grand Prix. Or will Squidge be able to just spoil the party a little bit on this final lap? We expected Squidge to dominate. That has not been the case, but is he going to be able to do what Ondercheck did for so long? If you remember back to season 7 of NEF1, I believe, what Ondercheck did was he sat behind people, tore them down, and on the last lap he took the lead of the Grand Prix away from the guy in first. And is Squidge now going to be able to do that to him that he did to so many people? Gonna have one more go down this back straight, up the Camel Straight. Here we go. Ondercheck versus Squidge. Getting closer to the braking zone. The Mercedes getting ever closer. The Audi having to use everything in order to stay clear. Squidge just gonna have an opportunity or two more as E69 has gone off circuit there. Gone a little bit deep. Squidge very close to Ondercheck, but not quite close enough to make it work. And this is all going to come down to the run, the bus stop chicane, maybe even the exit of the bus stop chicane. We've seen Squidge in decisive moments for race wins around the bus stop chicane. It didn't go well for him on that occasion. Here might be the move for the race win. Squidge to the inside of Ondercheck, who tries to hold it around the outside. Squidge to the outside into the next corner, and is being left nothing from Ondercheck there, who absolutely fancies himself for the race win. But here we go, it's going to be a straight drag race to the bus stop chicane van, and who is going to have more to play with? I believe the answer is neither. Both red lights on those cars flashing. Squidge, is he going to be able to pick up a slipstream into the bus stop? Yes, he will. He'll have to be very bold on the brakes. He goes for it, but he's just a bit too far back. Ondercheck needs a clean exit. It's been a brilliant race, but Ondrejek is just going to emerge victorious in the Belgian Grand Prix. Squidge 0.157 seconds behind him. Very well done. Mackers in P3 in the end, gets a podium. Congratulations to him. E69 fourth on the road, followed by Spenclose in fifth. Ray finishes sixth in the end. Is a brilliant recovery still from him. O2 Hasty in seventh place, followed by Wigan in eighth. iWatts in ninth. Halo P10 in the end, followed by Tiger Octave in 11th. Darren Style finishes P12, followed by Wildcat. Djokovic with a very mediocre end to the Grand Prix, finishes 13th ahead of Wildcat there on penalties. Mr. Wilco with an abysmal end to the race. He finishes in 15th place, 50 seconds behind anyone. Fastest lap goes to, let's have a look, Djokovic gets a solitary point in the end. We're just waiting for him to cross the line. Ondrejek there with his first win of the season. O2 Hasty has left the session. I don't know if that's going to impact the race result. It might. We'll wait and see. But there, in the end, we have, for the first time in NEF1, an Audi on the top step of the podium. It is Ondrejek 51, the one-time NEF1 champion, reclaiming the top step of the podium in his return season as well. It's an addition to the league like you would not believe. Squidge has to settle for second place, losing out a couple of points, but it's a good week for him still. 28 points in the bag. He'll take that any day of the week. But then there you have the final race results. Ondrejek wins this race by 0.157 of a second over Squidge. Mackers 1.5 seconds behind in the end. Spenclose getting a couple of points on debut there. 10 points for P5. Beautiful race from him, as well as Ray recovering from 20th in the sprint. Wigan in P7, followed by iWatts in 8th, Halo in 9th, and Octave 10th in the end. So then, moving on from that, next week out we are going back to Barcelona, in which we were a couple of weeks ago for the practice race in NEF1, heading there for the Grand Prix running, so you don't want to miss out on that one. It's promising to be a brilliant, brilliant race. So stay tuned for that. On the 6th of July is when that race goes live at 9 p.m. UK time, as always. If you have enjoyed this one, then please make sure to leave us a follow as well. It means the world to us. And we will see you in 7 days' time when NEF1 returns. Thank you again for watching. We'll see you next time. Peace out.